Welcome to the sizzling world of love, lust, and laughs, and more importantly, desire. This is Desire Dialogues. Get ready to dive into an electrifying podcast hosted by yours truly. Have you ever wondered why your love life feels like a lukewarm cup of coffee? Ugh. Fret not. I'm here to sprinkle on some easy, practical advice and solutions to spruce things up. So we'll be diving into the pool of common struggles. Join me while we flip through the pages of love, turn up the heat on passion, and discover the secret sauce to fulfilling a spicy love and sex life. As a professional seller of sex toys since 2013, I ended up seeing that there was a gap when it comes to fulfilled relationships that you can't just really throw sex toys at to repair and enhance, right? I help individuals and couples authentically express themselves for a more harmonious relationship and sex life, whether alone or with a partner or partners, without fear of judgment and shame and old beliefs. So I have a signature program called Relationship Reignition and a kick-ass 30-day program, nice fun couples challenge to help reignite the flames. Each day you'd get a sensual and or sexual activity for each day to go ahead and act upon. So I'm glad you're here. Hit that play button and enjoy. Today we are going to talk and delve into the crucial realm of sexual health, because who doesn't want to keep the fire alive in the bedroom? So the thing is, let's unveil the secrets to defending your bedroom mojo even when ED is involved. So I'm about to share 6 genius strategies to help dodge and handle erectile dysfunction, ED, for a penis owner. So there will be a completely separate podcast episode that will address sexual dysfunction as a vulva owner. So while there's top-notch treatments for this stubborn ED, let's first hone in on the lifestyle tweaks that can help champion this sexual wellness. So many of my clients have struggled with ED, and it is very common. The stats will be towards the end of the episode. And guess what? It's not all age-related and affects later in life penis owners like you may believe. So here's the thing, have you ever wondered what actually triggers ED in a penis owner? Well, there's quite a list. Here we go. High blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, mental and emotional hurdles, also some neurological disorders. Then we have hormonal imbalances, as well as smoking, whether that is marijuana or cigarettes. And last but not least, stress. So that's quite a list, right? And those are just a few of the troublemakers causing the ED. So now we have this, now we get this knowledge of the primary risk factors. So some things that can, you can do to start tackling these areas to safeguard your sexual prowess are as followed. So number 1, maintaining a healthy weight. I get it. It is extremely difficult. So here are some facts. Obesity hits over 42% of adults in the U.S., and it really takes a toll on your sexual game. So what happens is it slashes testosterone. It will wreak havoc on your vessels and the ability for the nerves. So when it does with the vessels, that's the thing. The vessels is where your blood is flowing. And since penis is not a bone, right, we rely on that blood flow to actually create that erection. And then you also have, with an overweight, inflammation can really be a party crasher, because it's going to be inflamed around those vessels that are actually key to maintaining that healthy blood flow to cause an erection and to keep an erection. So it's really keeping your body in check for your overall health is really important for that bedroom bliss, right? Number 2, kick the smoking habit. All right. smoking cigarettes is the nemesis of these blood vessels I just talked about. So like kicking this habit doesn't just give you, fresher lungs, better breathing, more stamina. It's actually going to pump up your erectile and the functioning that it needs by ensuring that the blood flows to where it needs to go. Number 3, get moving. Okay. So regardless of the weight loss, no one's telling you to sprint. I am absolutely not. What if you just started with like a 30-minute stroll? You could also do this with your partner. So as of the new year, me and my partner have started to go take strolls in the evening. And it's nice. It's actually a little bonding experience, right? No headphones, no phones, just gloves because it's chilly over here in New England at this time. It's January here. So also doing these small strolls, 30 minutes, Harvard backed this as an ED warrior, slashing the risks for ED by 41%. So our bodies love movement, and the bedroom antics will definitely thank you for it. Number 4, monitoring substance abuse. So hey, like a nightcap is soothing every now and then, right? And sometimes it can loosen things up to get you more in the mood, feel a little bit more confident. But there is that moderation involved that can really be helpful or hurtful. There's that fine line. So with too much booze or drugs, that messes with that brain to penis hotline, right? Those nerve endings. It's also going to diminish blood flow to the right areas. And sensations. You are a little bit decreased in sensations that actually cause some serious disruptions with ED. Number 5, more easier said than done. Stress less. Yes. Oh, the stress ED duo. Hand in hand. So stress might seem like the ultimate buzzkill, in the bedroom. And it does create this vicious cycle that I've heard my clients talk about where it's performance pressure. All right. So you're going to go have a good night in the bedroom, right? But in the back of the mind, the ED is there and could act up at any time. I help my clients with this, with meditation techniques, breath work, as well as edging, ways to help them find their zen and remain confident, and also how to handle the situation when ED crashes the party. So it's not hurting the connection between you and your partner or partners, right? So, you can break this stress by unwinding in a few different ways. Meditating, right? Breathing, moving around, and really just like finding your zen. So what chills out your mind? You're going to make time for that, all right? And it will really help you say bye-bye to those stress-related ED woes. Number 6, yes, there's been controversy, but masturbation. Engaging in, moderate masturbation actually positively impacts erectile functioning. So let's throw out those outdated beliefs and myths about negative effects, shall we? Bye-bye. So here's the thing. Masturbation has been unfairly judged. It actually turns out that taking charge of your own pleasure on the regular might be the secret sauce to keeping everything in top-notch condition down there. So in a study highlighted by WebMD, there was actually researchers from Finland, all right, at Tampere University Hospital. They delved into that use it or lose it philosophy. So they actually tracked the sexual habits of about 1,000 men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s for 5 years. And they made this striking discovery. So men engaging in sex in less than once a week, which does include yourself, were twice as likely to experience symptoms of ED. So these Finnish researchers actually concluded in their reports that regular sexual activity preserves potency, just like physical exercise maintains functional capacity, right? Like if you're going to go for a stroll, have a healthy weight, you're going to be able to have that stamina in the bedroom that you may be longing for, right? So this study really highlighted the significance of sexual activity helping to maintain the erectile function. So these moves aren't just preventative, but they absolutely help. Now another thing. There is a link between the mental and emotional well-being with your ED. And it's not a joke, and it's a serious combo. And it's going to be responsible for many of the 30 million guys, penis owners, battling this issue in the US. So I'd love to really touch upon the intimate connection between your headspace and your bedroom performance. And let's try to untangle those knots to help you reclaim the satisfying sex life that you maybe once had and you're really missing, right? So let's just understand the erection process first. So how does an erection happen? First, it starts with a thought or a feeling that sparks arousal. Then your brain sends signals to the muscles down there, therefore allowing that blood to rush in and create the magic. Remember, really healthy blood vessels. But hold up, it's not just your brain involved, right? We're talking mental, we're talking emotional, and this is really going to tie into how your connection is and your emotional connection is with your partner. What I have found is there's two types of people, okay? You need a sexual connection to feel emotionally connected to your partner. And then on the other side, some people need an emotional connection to want to be sexually connected to their partner. And a lot of the times, opposites attract. So when it, not just with the cardiovascular, your metabolism system at play and the sensory nervous system that can all be really put to a halt there with the things I mentioned before, those 6 strategies to help. The mental and emotional really is a big link, okay? So your brain's the boss of the boners, right? But if it's dealing with mood swings or anxiety, the ED really can take center stage here. There was more studies. I love studies. I have this beautiful resource library on incredible articles, peer-reviewed, and also it's just oodles of knowledge of PsychNet, different articles that have been published by researchers on almost everything. I love spending my time in there. I am a lifelong learner, and I always more to learn about sexuality, for sure. So there was a study that linked depression with ED, and the result was a staggering 4 out of 5 men faced both depression and ED together, okay? So anxiety, that doesn't hold back either. The thing with anxiety, it's going to point, it points in the direction where there's a higher severity of ED when anxiety is involved as well. So even if your ED origins aren't tied to your emotional mental state, they really can form this unholy alliance. ED brings stress and anxiety to the party. And guess what? They love making ED worse. It is a cycle that can mess with multiple aspects of your health. So I want you to just keep in mind, out of those 6 things that I mentioned, where do you think you or your partner, I'm going to be honest with you, out of my clients, I'm going to say 2 out of 5, and I work with clients of all ages, all backgrounds, and sexual orientation. ED, whether it is something that has been age-related or something that's just been a smaller time frame because of emotional distress, messing with it, it is able to be helped, okay? You are not alone if you yourself or your partner or partners struggle with ED and its impacts. So know you're not alone, and there are so many things you can do. I absolutely help my clients with this, break out onto the other side with easy, applicable steps. Super easy. So here's the thing, if you're only thinking that it's an age-related condition, nope. Various studies actually investigated the prevalence of ED. So this was actually according to the Massachusetts Male Aging Study, okay? ED affects around 52% of men, penis owners. So you're going to notice throughout my podcast that I try to take out the, gender, all right? I do, okay? What if it's not just men? Penis owners, we're going to go with that. And women, we're going to go with vulva owners. So if you hear me saying those things, that is why. ED affects around 52% of penis owners. So this study actually highlighted that, ED can become more common as men age. So 40 years old, right? Like, do you believe that's old? 40% of men are affected by this at 40 years old. And then 70% of men are affected of this at 70 years old. This is not to say that sexual desire decreases with ED. Absolutely not. But those main risk factors that I mentioned can be more hurtful as you get older. Maybe as you get older, it's harder to maintain that weight. And, heart disease, stuff like that, because of maybe your family's history, right? When you go to the doctor, they ask about the history. So let's get a little bit more into it. We have the prevalence of severe ED rises from 5% among 40-year-olds to 15% among 70. So age is a factor. So estimating incidences here, the Massachusetts Male Aging Study has been used, the data from that. And these incident figures are crucial for evaluating risk and devising treatment and prevention plans. So when they did this study, they projected that they'd see about 17,000 new cases of ED annually, with 617,000 new cases across the United States. So then there was this broader national survey done by the National Health and Social Life Survey that actually explored sexual function among both women and men, both penis owners and vulva owners. And that involved 1,410 penis owners from age 18 to 59, echoed this trend of ED rising with age, right? But additionally, it noted a decline in sexual desire as age started to increase because of discouragement with ED and what it does. So this is the thing. Men facing poor physical and emotional health, just like we mentioned before, are prone to sexual dysfunction. And that physical health can be harder to maintain as you do get older. So regardless, this study underscores sexual dysfunction as a significant public health concern because it suggests such emotional factors significantly contribute to this experience that so many face. All right, treatment roadmap, eh? So if you were really just looking, you've done the self-help books, you've done the Google searches. Honestly, if you want to break free from this ED loop, you can check in with your doctor. They can give your health a checkpoint, check your blood flow, check your heart rates and your blood pressure, and really maybe help pinpoint the cause, whether it's hormonal, right, or cardiovascular. So those are also, things you can do to find like an answer here. But on the flip side, if it's a mind game, working with a sex coach can absolutely provide tips to boost your emotional and mental well-being. So when you're all emotionally linked up with your boo, guess what? That's the secret sauce to really fixing those bedroom blues. So when you're vibing emotionally and then you're feeling close, right? That's emotional intimacy. You're actually going to be more up and game for a spicy connection between the sheets. So basically, getting cozy emotionally often amps up the sexy vibes. 10 out of 10 in my case with my clients. So even when the emotional bond isn't there, things might feel a bit frosty. But without that deep emotional connection, getting in the mood or feeling that closeness can kind of be like trying to light a match in a fucking windstorm. It can be really pretty tough. So this is where a relationship and sex coach comes in, and they can truly help you heal any wounds and any past hurts that are blocking your emotional and sexual connection bridge with your partner or partners or with yourself. So fear not, my friends, okay? Regardless of the root cause, there is a roadmap. There's a roadmap to revive your sex life. Like, let's get you back in the game. All my info is in the show notes to touch base, and I can share with you how I help. So, you're tackling your ED can benefit from both a medical and a psycho-emotional support by a coach combined during treatment. So if you are looking for a doctor to help. I have one I highly recommend, Dr. Anne Truong. She's been an expert in her field of sexual medicine with stem cell therapy for both ED and penis and vulva owners. So you can find her on LinkedIn. And she has an incredibly resourceful educational YouTube channel, as well as being a published author for books primarily on ED. So thank you so much, my friends. I just want you to think about, are you going to let this ruin your life? Are you going to let this really be the end all be all? It doesn't define you. It's only a symptom of what is going on in your body. So I thank you so much for listening. And just know that if you're a partner or somebody who is suffering with ED, it's not their fault. There are some things that can help. And maybe having them listen to this episode could be helpful. Maybe working with a coach could be helpful. As long as we don't criticize anyone going through this. This is the body. There really is not a lot of super control over it. Our body does weird things to protect us, when our mental state isn't in the right capacity, right? And if the emotional bond is not there, there are so many ways to enhance it. And, you're the catalyst for change. Whoever's listening and thinking, oh my gosh, what if, I could get some help for this? What if I'm open to this, And that's my question I'll leave you with. Are you open to a discussion about how to enhance your ED so it's not such a party crasher? Also, another thing to note is, how is your emotional connection? What about a couple session? So I work with individuals and couples with all sorts of, sexual ailments, dysfunctions, as well as really looking at the foundation of the relationship. That is all the different types of intimacies. My friends, I thank you kindly. Till next time. Thanks so much again for listening. I would love it if you follow and subscribe to this podcast. It actually helps the podcast programs and platforms be able to recognize the sexuality type of podcast. They're not necessarily easily searchable. So it would really help other listeners like you be able to get some really fun stuff in between their ears. So feel free to share it with a friend if you think they'd be into this too and learning more about their body, desire, and things to enhance their relationships with themselves or others. Also, all of my information to connect on all the socials, to order yourself some sex toys, are all in the link in the podcast description. Thanks so much, guys. Don't forget, pleasure is your birthright, and you don't have to ask permission.